5 ways to monetize your message. Visit joincharvette.com to grab your seat. So, listen, you know the goal of my show is to motivate, excite, and influence, and we do that by pulling together dynamic and phenomenal guests all of the time. So we appreciate you guys that are listening in from all over the world. Thank you for those that are listening in from Facebook Live and from Periscope and from Twitter and from YouTube and, of course, from our broadcast stations and from my mobile app. And you may be listening from an Alexa device. And if you're hanging out on charvette.com, we thank you so much for being dialed in. So listen, today I am excited. Hanging out in the virtual studio with me, I'm about to bring her up to the virtual mic. We have Dr. Micah Allen joining us. Listen, she is a naturopathic doctor and licensed acupuncturist with additional training in Chinese herbal medicine, and she is focused on women's health, cardiovascular disease, and pain management, and fertility, too, and all of that good stuff. And to top it all off, in addition to patient care, Dr. Allen is an affiliate graduate faculty member at Virginia Commonwealth University, as well as an adjunct professor in health sciences. That is my alma mater. Shout out to VCU Rams. And she's here to talk to us today. Coming up to the mic right now, Dr. Micah Allen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Charvette. I'm really excited to share with you and your audience. It's such a pleasure to be able to have access to this platform, and I really hope that you're able to just glean a ton of information for what I have to share with you all today. So listen up and be sure to share with family and friends, because this is going to be an epic show.
Oh, yes. I co-sign all of that. All right. So, Dr. Micah, let's jump in. I want to hear really what was the catalyst that helped you decide to come into this area, this profession, to become a doctor. What was the catalyst and the driving force?
And so initially, believe it or not, I was on my way to being a veterinarian. So all through middle school, high school, that was my goal. I majored in animal science, pre-veterinary medicine at Florida A&M University. Go Rattlers. I pretty much immersed myself in the field. And, you know, I just got this inkling to volunteer at the ER in Tallahassee, Florida, which is where FAMU is. And after spending some time at the ER and seeing people treated acutely, right, for their diseases, I always found myself kind of lingering back to get the backstory of what brought them into the ER, you know. It was always so fascinating to me how most folks, like their acute presentation, was usually rooted in everyday lifestyle choices, things like, you know, diet, exercise, or the lack thereof, their genetics. But this turn of events basically took me on a journey through observing research at the pharmacy school, doing an internship with a local gastroenterologist and pharmacist in Tallahassee. And my time in those spaces kind of convinced me that I wanted to look at medicine in a way that was exploring the root cause, right? So that's kind of what led me to naturopathic medicine. And once I found and was able to read exactly what it was, because growing up in a rural South Florida town, you know, I'd never heard of naturopathic medicine before. But once I read about it, I said, oh, my gosh, this is where I belong. This is what I need, and this is what the community needs for me to bring to it so that we can heal at a deeper level.
Oh, that's so good. So thank you for being willing to work with humans and choosing humans over animals. No diss to pet lovers and all those that are out there. We certainly, you know, applaud all veterinarians. And so those that are listening are probably some of the listeners are probably saying, okay, so what exactly is a naturopathic doctor?
Yeah, so a naturopathic doctor is a clinician who basically approaches health from a holistic manner. And so when I say holistic, we're looking at the client. We're not necessarily just seeing a disease, what you're diagnosed with. We're going to be considering the family history, diet, medications that you might be taking, supplements, and then, something that, in medicine in general, we tend to overlook, that mental, emotional component, right? And so just to state it before, we're looking for the root cause. We're looking at where this presentation of how this person exists in the world, what does all of these different factors play in how they present, right? And so we all have undergraduate degrees prior to kind of going through our 4-year naturopathic medical school. We sit for rigorous board exams, and currently 22 states in the U.S., 5 Canadian provinces, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands have laws on the books that regulate naturopathic medicine. And so we would consider Virginia a pre-licensed state, and, there is active legislation that we're trying to push forward in 2019 and 2020. So, again, that naturopathic medicine can be regulated here in the state, and we can have a little bit more of a broader spectrum as it relates to patient care here in Virginia. Yeah.
Okay. And so what has been really fulfilling about going in this, in choosing this pathway?
It's been really eye-opening. So prior to coming to Richmond, I practiced in private practice in Seattle, Washington. So Washington is one of the states that has regulation. And so there I performed or practiced as a primary care physician. So doing well woman's exam, well men exam, well child exams, injections, blood draws. So it was pretty extensive as far as the scope of practice is concerned. Here in Virginia, I practice basically as a consultant as it relates to naturopathic medicine. But to see, like I stated before, we're basically working in adjunct with primary care physicians here in Virginia. But because of, say, for instance, that 5 to 7 minute visit that you might get with your conventional doctor, when we think about lifestyle and diet and medication and supplement, how are we going to be able to focus on that in that very short time frame, that 5 to 7 minutes, right? And patients, those that are very proactive are going to be going in with their notebooks and have their questions at the ready to go. But what I found to be so fulfilling is that, again, this isn't at the fault of conventional medicine because this is the system that they're in, right? But when clients come in to see me, the first visit is right at about 2 hours. So we get an opportunity to go through, like I said, all of the extensive background, the history, what they're eating, how they're moving their bodies, what their mental health looks like. And we're able to tease out different things that could be affecting their health on a daily basis. So it's always great to be able to sit and be present with people, allow them to share their stories. We come up with a plan together because it's a partnership. It is not a dictatorship. And once we've partnered together to come up with a plan, then when the clients are able to leave my space, apply that, right? It's all about empowering them so that they know how to basically heal themselves, right? And so when they come back and they've lost weight, or, their blood pressure is regulated, or their blood sugar is down from what it was before, if they had migraines before and they have been resolved, or they haven't slept in years and they've been sleeping soundly, for the last 2 weeks after implementing the care plan, that part is what is most fulfilling for me, is to see monumental change that occurs in people's lives because of these care plan recommendations that we're recommending.
Oh, that's good. Change, change, change to see change and transformation. If you're just tuning in, hey there, you're checking out the Charvette Mitchell radio show, and we are featuring Dr. Micah Allen is with us here, naturopathic doctor, licensed acupuncturist, and just getting us together, all holistic wellness, and to think about how we can heal ourselves. So hello to all those that are joining us live on the phone lines. We see you, hello, and Facebook Live and all of our live broadcast stations. And so alluded to and just talking about acupuncture. Does that hurt? Does that hurt? Just see all those little needles. Does it hurt?
So, Charvette, I think most people that have been exposed to acupuncture, it's usually via the television or movies, right? And so typically
yes.
you've seen a show or you've seen a movie where the person has 500 acupuncture needles and they're all over the head and the face. And so in a typical treatment, that's not how it works. I will say that I like to describe acupuncture as far as the insertion of the needle is like a little bit of a prick. So just a small prick upon insertion, but there should not be any pain that remains after that initial insertion. If there is any discomfort, typically the needle can be adjusted, or we will remove the needle and then replace it after that point. But typically there should be no pain or discomfort with the acupuncture.
Okay, and so what type of ailment would be best suited to have acupuncture as the remedy?
And also, I think as a society with acupuncture, we kind of put it in the box of mostly pain management, right? Because that's what most insurance companies will, process or cover. And so the great thing about acupuncture is that it's actually a part of an entire system of medicine, which is traditional Chinese medicine. And so it's one of the arms of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. But in addition to acupuncture, there's also herbs. There's a form of physical medicine that includes things like gua sha and tui na. But it's so amazingly wonderful for a variety of different ailments. And so when we look at, I heard you mention fertility support, a lot more studies now in relationship to how acupuncture can be helpful for helping with ovarian health, as well as increasing blood flow, helping to reduce fibroids, relieving symptoms of endometriosis. And so the sky is literally the limit as it relates to acupuncture, again, because it is intertwined within this Chinese medical system, right? And so typically I will use acupuncture, but we'll also address lifestyle. We'll talk about, as it relates to Chinese medicine, a diet, say, for instance, someone who has fibroids, we would consider a diet that is going to help move and clear what we call stagnation. And stagnation usually is present when there is pain or discomfort, right? And so that person, we recommend them to consume warm foods, not to consume cold foods. And so even though we might go to a restaurant or be at brunch and want our water with ice, for that specific person, we're going to recommend them to drink water room temperature, right? Instead of salad,
I like room temperature water myself.
Me too. Yeah, and I always get looked at kind of funny, right? Well, I ask for no ice. But yeah, so the medicine has its way of incorporating all of those different arms in order to better promote health. So I like acupuncture for everything. I actually got into acupuncture because I was in naturopathic medical school and had frozen shoulder syndrome. And so again, being from South Florida, rural town, I had never been exposed to acupuncture. And so everybody's like, yeah, we get a student discount. You should try it out. And so I went for 6 weeks, and my symptoms were completely resolved. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, you go ahead and sign me up. I'm going to add this tool to my toolbox.
Yeah, yes. Let me help somebody
Yeah.
else. And so I know there are listeners that are saying, okay, so how, can I get a consultation with Dr. Micah? And we have people listening from all over. Is this something that they have to be in the city, in Richmond, Virginia? How does that work if they want to work with you?
And so acupuncture, unfortunately, we haven't been able to harness it virtually. We're definitely working on it, though. I'm sure somebody's trying their best to be able to get us some sort of tool where we can do that virtually. So that you have to be on site. But for the naturopathic medicine consultations, we do have virtual options. And so if folks want to, get signed up, you can do that through the website, drmicaallen.com. There are virtual wellness consultations available. And then if you're here in the city, would absolutely love to have you come over to the physical location and, be able to check in face-to-face.
All right, and that's Micha, Micah. And if you're hanging out at Charvette.com, or if you haven't made it that way, go over to Charvette.com. We have Dr. Micah's full bio and all that good information right over there. And so I love that you have that virtual consultation option. And I noticed on your website that you have ebooks available for purchase on your website. How has that helped your business and or clients?
So the ebooks have been very, very helpful in kind of bridging the gap. Okay, so say for instance, I think what we have up now is one for fertility. There's a diabetes masterclass. There's also one for endometriosis. And so for clients who are kind of on the fence, who are thinking about, well, I think I want to do a consultation. I follow her on Instagram. Her content is great, which if you aren't already, please do go ahead and follow me there, because I do share a lot of content there. But I find that the ebooks
It's amazing.
Yeah, the ebooks are helpful because it allows the client to be able to see my approach, right? How I approach different presentations and what they can expect when we do get a chance to meet, or if they decide to move forward with doing a consultation. And for me, I like it mainly, again, because I am in the arm of empowering, right? That allows me to be able to share that education, share information that I know will be helpful for people once they apply it.
Wonderful, wonderful. And this is the type of work, the type of service that I do and help clients with in my product and course academy, because there are so many people don't realize the impact of digital products and digital courses for their business and for their clients, just for the reason that you said, of just allowing the client to be able to sample you almost, just to get a taste of what you have to offer. So that's why you guys should definitely sign up for my upcoming webinar, 5 Ways to Monetize Your Message. Join Charvette.com, proud sponsors of this show. All right, and so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, Dr. Micah, I would love for you to share maybe 3 to 5 ways to lower blood pressure. I know a lot of people kind of deal with stress and blood pressure and all of that, so I want to share a few tips with our listeners, and so you guys don't move. You are hanging out here with the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show, and we're featuring Dr. Micah Allen, and we're going to a quick commercial break. Don't you move. We'll be right back.
It's the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Charvette will be back after this.
Join us for the 17th Annual James River Writers Conference, happening at the Greater Richmond Convention Center, Saturday, October 12th and Sunday, October 13th, with master classes starting Friday the 11th. This conference is an annual gathering in Richmond, Virginia, that attracts prize-winning authors and highly regarded editors and literary agents from around the country to share their wisdom about writing and publishing. Register today at jamesriverwriters.org, and we will see you October 12th and October 13th at the Greater Richmond Convention Center. Find out more at jamesriverwriters.org.
Knowing your breasts can save your life. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
Are you starting a new business, releasing a CD, writing a new book? Consider Mitchell Productions for your web design services. Visit www.mitchell-productions.com for portfolio samples, specials, and package prices. Remember, a website is not a luxury item. It's a necessity. Check out mitchell-productions.com or find them at facebook.com/Mitchell Productions.
She's here to motivate, excite, and influence you. She's Charvette Mitchell. It's the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show with in-depth interviews from today's leading authors, gospel artists, stars that you want to know about. And now, Charvette Mitchell.
All right, welcome back again. Thank you for all those that are listening in from Facebook Live and Periscope and Twitter and Charvette.com and all of our broadcast stations. We are here chatting it up, about to give you and drop some tips of how to lower your blood pressure if you feel your blood pressure rising up. And we've got Dr. Micah Allen joining us. So Dr. Micah, while we are jumping into the tips, can you share how people can connect with you on social media and website and all of that one more time?
Yes, so social media, Instagram is at Dr. Micah Allen, so that's DrMichaAllen. On Facebook, we're at Essential Natural Health. Twitter, I definitely need to tweet a little bit more, but that's also at Dr. Micah Allen. And then my website is just simply drmicahAllen.com, trying to keep it as simplified as possible, but you should be able to find me there and active and engaging at least during the week time. So, yeah, those are my spots.
Wonderful. Those are the spots. And so definitely what stood out about you and the reason why we requested you to be on the show is all of the great information and tips that you do share on Instagram stories and on your Instagram page. And so that definitely stood out to us. And I'm really excited and honored that you're also a member in my Facebook group. Hey, girl, hey, to our community members who may be listening in. So you can tag her and say, hey, I heard you. All right, so blood pressure, maybe 3 to 5 tips for lowering or keeping your blood pressure under control.
Yes, so blood pressure has really become a lot more personal to me in the last year. There was an Instagram post, I think a couple weeks ago or maybe even last month that I posted in relationship to my own struggle with high blood pressure. And also knowing, the family history of my mother and my grandmother. There are also some paternal family history of high blood pressure as well. But 1 in 2 African-American women has high blood pressure, and 50% of them don't even know that their blood pressure is high. And so, the symptoms, unfortunately, can be very subtle, so things like headaches or migraines, difficulty breathing. You can also have or experience nosebleeds. And so making sure, I would say the first recommendation that I would make for lowering your blood pressure is having a visit with your primary care physician and knowing your numbers. Checking in just to see whether or not your blood pressure is elevated in the first place, right? So knowing and being aware of where you stand will then help you to be able to act and respond appropriately, right? So check in with your primary care physician. And then the others that I want to share, I'll pick one from each area of importance. But lifestyle, I think, adopting a lifestyle that warrants managing stress. We know that stress is inevitable, right? There's no way that we can escape it. But being able to know how to adequately manage your stress appropriately. And so things like yoga, right? We have tons of studios here in the city. Picking and choosing one, if you want to do indoor, outdoor, hot yoga, goat yoga, whatever you prefer. Getting some yoga in, it's been studied and shown to help decrease stress significantly. Meditation, obviously I'm going to be a little biased with acupuncture. Acupuncture has been shown to decrease levels of stress hormones, specifically cortisol.
Oh.
And then seeing a therapist and absolutely incorporating prayer, right? There are studies on prayer in relationship to stress and stress management. So we know as a community that it works, but the scientific community also is seeing and knowing that prayer absolutely decreases stress and stress hormones, okay? And because we're decreasing those stress hormones, specifically cortisol, that will in turn also lower your blood pressure, okay? So that's lifestyle.
Listen, I got to just stick a pin here. So we have a lot of listeners that are faith-based, and so I hope you all caught that, how we already know prayer works, but now science is having to come back and back that up that we already know. So I just wanted to stick a pin there. We can continue. Thank you, Dr. Micha.
Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem. The next one is adopting a plant-based diet, okay? I would say, so the majority of your plate that you have, 3/4 of it being plant-based, you know. Some people, and I will say when we talk about diet is always going to be very individual. So people are going to respond differently to different diets. One diet is not going to be great for everyone, right? So when we talk about vegetarianism or veganism or keto diet, you always have to look at your individual presentation and how your body will respond to it. But in general, if we're adopting a plant-based diet, that means the majority of your plate is going to be veggies and fruit, okay? If possible, having them to be organic and non-GMO, because that's going to make a difference as well. If you decide to consume animal protein, making sure that it's low to moderate levels of healthy animal protein. So I love having folks to adopt cold water fish. So we talk about salmon, cod, sardines, all right, those work too. Those are going to be great options for your protein source, mainly because they're high in essential fatty acids, which means you're going to be getting lots of omega-3s, which are anti-inflammatory in nature and will be absolutely helpful for managing blood pressure, right? Mainly because it's going to allow your vessels to be a lot more flexible and pliable and not rigid and hard, okay? And so a plant-based diet with low to moderate levels of healthy animal protein. And then lastly, I wanted to share one of my favorite herbs for lowering blood pressure, and that is Hawthorne Berry. So Hawthorne Berry is an herb that is amazing for blood pressure, mainly because it's going to help with what we call vasodilation in the clinical world. So it means that the vessels are going to be relaxing, okay? So they won't be, again, constricted and tight, which increases our blood pressure. And it's also going to, when we talk about our blood pressure, we have two numbers. So that top number is the systolic number. The bottom number is what we call the diastolic number. And so studies have shown that Hawthorne specifically decreases that bottom number, okay? It also shows that it's very helpful in decreasing highly elevated blood pressure. And so there's different forms of Hawthorne. You can do teas, you can do tinctures, you can do solid extracts. You can shape it up and serve it in several different ways, okay?
Wow. I've never heard of this. So is this in the health food store?
It is available in the health food store. We also have a virtual dispensary that you can find through the website. And so there's a store on the website, drmicaallen.com, And there you can find what we consider high-grade supplement options there as well. So you can find them through that source also.
All right, check it out. And while you're on the website, pick up a #GetPoked T-shirt. Now you got to tell us the story behind that. Get poked.
Yes. And so myself and a few other colleagues, we have been using the Get Poked hashtag just to increase awareness about acupuncture. If you look at the hashtag, you'll probably see some piercings. You'll probably see poke bowls, which I'm also a fan of. But Get Poked in general is mainly, it's a fun way to create a conversation about something that, someone on the street who sees me with my shirt on probably would not have asked me about acupuncture, right? So they say, well, what does that mean?
Right.
Because they're probably thinking it means something else.
Right.
But
get your minds out of the gutter.
Right, exactly. But it's about acupuncture. It's about exposing people to this wonderful medicine, this alternative option for just care in general. And when we talk about, the opioid crisis and how it's just run rampant through our nation, acupuncture is such a great, I hate to use the word alternative, but it's such a great option that's available for people who have really struggled with being able to manage their pain appropriately and who may have, kind of dwindled down the road of opioid addiction. So it's a conversation starter.
Conversation starter, #Get Poked. Well, I am telling you, our time just flew by, and so my last question for you, the goal of my show is to motivate, excite, and influence, and we want to know what continues to motivate Dr. Micah Allen.
What continues to motivate me most is, again, being able to see clients and see change happen literally before my eyes. My family motivates me. So my husband and my kids, they have been, here throughout the existence of my business and through this, the program and medical school. And so just to see them and to be able to show them, right, and live this way on a daily basis is always motivating for me. And then lastly, the audience, right? Like this new world with Instagram and Facebook and being able to share with not just, people who are in your immediate local area, but, you talked about folks who are on the phone line, but you have people all over the world who can be impacted and who you can influence. But the thing that we don't talk about most is when people share their stories with us, right, and how it can help educate me so that I can be a better doctor and a better community member. So all of those things help keep me going.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. And where you can provide the address to your location here in Richmond for those that are listening from the capital city.
Yes. My address is 235 Wadsworth Drive, and we're actually in North Chesterfield, Virginia, and 23236 is our zip code. I get the honor also of sharing space with 3 amazing chiropractic doctors who are also African-American women. So shout out to them. But if you want to come, if you want to come to our office, it's always open, available, warm, and welcoming. And I lastly wanted to let you guys know, just especially for this show, I have created a deal, and I'm not going to give you all the details. You have to go to the website to check it out. But once you go to the home page, you'll see a button there that says, "Hey, girl, hey." You can click on that button, and it's limited numbers of them available. So make sure that if you're interested in checking it out, go and check it out as soon as possible. And it will be available up until Friday or until, it's all complete and done. So, yeah.
All right. I feel feels super duper special. Hey girl, hey. And for those that might be saying, it's hey girl, hey. You just have to be a part of the community to understand our community language. But hey girl, hey to our community members that are listening in. Thank you so much, Dr. Micah. That feels so super special for that feature there. And so we are just going to continue to connect with you and continue to follow and learn from you and implement the things that you are sharing. So thank you for stopping by the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to sharing with you in the future.
Oh, you are welcome. All right, listeners, that is a wrap for today's show. As always, check back with us where we will have a more phenomenal guest and amazing shows. We're so excited that you're a part of this journey with us. We'll see you later. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Catch Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.